but I can't wrap my brain around it. Why s souls choose to come here and be pedophiles, to be rapists, to be killers, and we're supposed to love them. I have a hard time.
Yep,
I don't know how to accept that.
because you're human, because you're human. You know what? That is a very, very big question. I'm going to just shift and let the guides come through and answer that. So, why would anyone choose to come forth knowing the likelihood of the atrocities that they might commit? Siara koro mana ki nakaroku sukutaramana ki. Ara koro miana ki ara kozotora miana ki anarokura ki ati sakaramana ki ananokoro manada kita. You must remember, dear ones, if you can pull your perspective back and really take in the whole picture of the decision to come and why one would decide at all to come to what we sometimes refer to as the Earth School or the merry-go-round that we call Earth. Because, dear ones, when you can for a moment settle into the knowing or the perspective or perception of source energy being all as one. In order for source to expand, there must be experience. This is but a very small slice of this pie, but it is the slice that you can and have the ability within this moment to understand. So, this is what we would explain, that you do combine, and as we show this one sitting around the cosmic table and having the discussion. Of course, this is just a metaphor for the blending of energies that happen when one decides to send a fractal of the whole to the earth plane or to what we would call the physical plane. Many more opportunities than the Earth School, many, many limitless opportunities. But when one decides to take on a particular dimension, there are those agreements that have to happen. It is the rules of the game, shall we say. If the soul, the oversoul, the all wanted to continue to experience the bliss and the unconditional love, there would be sending anything forward. It is for the experience of the contrast and the rules of the particular game. You play your games on planet Earth, and sometimes you lose miserably. And then you stand up and you fold up the board and you are done. And it has not caused any great catastrophe within you. And though it might be a hard pill for you to swallow as such, it is very much the same thing, regardless of the experience on this planet or any other, quite frankly. So there has to be the players on the stage. If all the players on the stage are skipping around merrily with their little Bo Peep hooks and their beautiful sheep and they're so happy and they're so fun, it gets pretty boring pretty quick. But when the big bad wolf comes out and starts to cause the disruption, then indeed things get a bit more interesting. And little Bo Peep is then challenged with all kinds of possibilities. And she gets to utilize her strength, her sovereignty within that present moment of how she is going to deal with the big bad wolf. And it does indeed create a much more interesting story. And we understand that this very simple explanation, if you are one of the lambs that got eaten by the big bad wolf, wouldn't feel very satisfying to you. However, that lamb is glorying as much as the wolf is glorying, as much as little Bo Peep is glorying. When their turn on this merry-go-round is done, they end back to pure positive energy. So now let's go to the pre-birth aspect once again. And we are figuratively sitting around the table discussing what little Bo Peep is going to learn in this incarnation. And there has to be the players on the stage. So you have those who very lovingly volunteer to be the sheep and know their life will be short, as they will probably be eaten by the wolf. And there is that one who, through great love for little Bo Peep, lowers their vibration, separates themselves from that which they are, and chooses an incarnation that has the components that will very likely create the person who will turn into the big bad wolf. It is indeed done from love. For if little Bo Peep does not experience the big bad wolf, she will not blossom into the all that she is choosing, gathering the knowings, gathering the understandings within this incarnation to then carry back to the all when her incarnation is done. Well, what do we
Wow.
think about that?
So it's a game.
It's a game.
How do we not feel like puppets? You kind
Yeah.
of feel like you're being played with. Like, why can't the veil be lifted sooner so that we don't feel so misused? If we chose this life and these painful experiences, why can't we be put out of our misery before we lose minds?
That's a great question. Let's ask. Why is the veil? Why do we forget all that we are? Why does it take so long for us to remember the power of who we are and the knowing of these truths? Why has it taken all of these years? And there is the risk of going batshit crazy. Why isn't the truth revealed sooner? Is that a good sum up?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's just Siari ana koro kia na kia totoro mana ni ana ze kia kotoro ma kia kataro kosa kia kotoro komana. Are kia ki za komana kia na kia za kotoro oka aniana na kia kata. Rose ki kiara kazaro mono kiara kazitor kotikara maniana kosotorko. The first thing we would say, dear ones, is we enjoy the passion and the strength and the ferocity of these inquiries. These are questions that so many people have, and it will be a great service as these answers are coming into your knowing and sharing on the YouTube and such. We just would have you know that we enjoy what is indeed going on at this time. The answer to the question lies in the understanding of time. When you came forth, you agreed to linear time. First of all, settle into the empowerment of knowing that indeed you chose it. From a place of complete knowing, from a place of complete understanding, no veil, the whole picture, you knew exactly what you were signing up for. And because of all that you are, because of all that you have experienced through so many dimensions, timelines, incarnations, and realms, you knew that you stood a very good chance at this turn on the merry-go-round. You stood a good chance to find your way to the truth. You stood a good chance of surviving the atrocities. You also knew it was not a guarantee. You knew that it was going to be difficult. And that the harder it is, the greater the cosmic expansion. And we understand that from your perspective, that is frustrating. But you have to, no, Kelly, not have to. We invite you to settle into the knowing that when you make your transition, you will then see that all time is indeed now. There was no great long suffering. That is all the illusion of being human. So when you know that, there isn't the fear of that. Does that make sense to you? We do understand that in the experiencing of it, that the human has the capacity to surrender to the chaos and let their mind disconnect, let their soul disconnect. We understand that that is a risk within this incarnation. And it is up to you in each individual moment to make your decision. Do you surrender to the chaos, or do you shine your light in the present moment? Do you use the mind with the understanding of duality and time and linear and space? Do you use that mind to reach in all directions for the chaos, for the pain, for the memories, for the judgments, for the hurt, for all that can be part of your present moment, dear one? And you have that choice. And you can reach and you can grab as much of that as you want to in any present moment. Or you can take that sacred breath and you can come into this present moment and you can utilize what you are learning and put it into practice over and over. And every time you do, the grid turns up, the light shines brighter, the expansion is more. And it is what you came forth to do. Whoa. Holy moly, moly.
No.
That's a pretty good answer.
That is a great answer.